Area 44,579,000 square kilometers, 17,212,000 square miles. Population 4,694,576,167, 2021, first. Population density 100/km2, 260/sq GDP, PPP, $72.7 trillion, 2022 EST, first. GDP, nominal, $39 trillion, 2022 EST, first. GDP per capita $8,890, 2022 EST, fourth. Religions. Hinduism, 26.1%. Islam, 25.7%. No religion, 20%. Buddhism, 11.3%. Folk religions, 8.6%. Christianity, 7.2%. Others, 1.2%, 7a. De minim Asian. Countries 49 UN members. 1 UN observer. 5 other states. Dependencies. List. Non-UN states. List. Languages. List of languages. Time zones UTC plus 2 o'clock to UTC plus 12 o'clock. Internet TLD.Asia. Largest cities. List of metropolitan areas. Lists of cities. UN M49 Code 142, Asia. Asia is the largest continent in the world by both land area and population. It covers an area of more than 44 million square kilometers, about 30% of Earth's total land area and 8% of Earth's total surface area. The continent, which has long been home to the majority of the human population, was the site of many of the first civilizations. Its 4.7 billion people constitute roughly 60% of the world's population, having more people than all other continents combined. Asia shares the landmass of Eurasia with Europe and Afro-Eurasia with both Europe and Africa. In general terms, it is bounded on the east by the Pacific Ocean, on the south by the Indian Ocean, and on the north by the Arctic Ocean. The border of Asia with Europe is a historical and cultural construct, as there is no clear physical and geographical separation between them. It is somewhat arbitrary and has moved since its first conception in classical antiquity. The division of Eurasia into 2 continents reflects east-west cultural, linguistic, and ethnic differences, some of which vary on a spectrum rather than with a sharp dividing line. A commonly accepted division places Asia to the east of the Suez Canal, separating it from Africa, and to the east of the Turkish Straits, the Ural Mountains and Ural River, and to the south of the Caucasus Mountains and the Caspian and Black Seas, separating it from Europe. 15. China and India alternated in being the largest economies in the world from 1 to 1800 CE. China was a major economic power and attracted many to the east, 16, 17, 18, and for many the legendary wealth and prosperity of the ancient culture of India personified Asia, 19, attracting European commerce, exploration and colonialism. The accidental discovery of a transatlantic route from Europe to America by Columbus while in search for a route to India demonstrates this deep fascination. The Silk Road became the main east-west trading route in the Asian hinterlands, while the Straits of Malacca stood as a major sea route. Asia has exhibited economic dynamism, particularly East Asia, as well as robust population growth during the 20th century, but overall population growth has since fallen. 20. Asia was the birthplace of most of the world's mainstream religions, including Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Judaism, Jainism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, as well as many other religions. Given its size and diversity, the concept of Asia, a name dating back to classical antiquity, may actually have more to do with human geography than physical geography. Citation needed. Asia varies greatly across and within its regions with regard to ethnic groups, cultures, environments, economics, historical ties, and government systems. It also has a mix of many different climates ranging from the equatorial south via the hot desert in the Middle East, temperate areas in the east and the continental center to vast subarctic and polar areas in Siberia. The threefold division of the Old World into Europe, Asia and Africa has been in use since the 6th century BCE, due to Greek geographers such as Anaximander and Hecataeus. Citation needed. Anaximander placed the boundary between Asia and Europe along the Phasis River, the modern Rioni River, in Georgia of Caucasus, from its mouth by Poti on the Black Sea coast. through the Surami Pass and along the Kura River to the Caspian Sea, a convention still followed by Herodotus in the 5th century BCE. 22. During the Hellenistic period, 23, this convention was revised, and the boundary between Europe and Asia was now considered to be the Tanais, the modern Don River. This is the convention used by Roman-era authors such as Posidonius, 24, Strabo, 25, and Ptolemy, 26. The border between Asia and Europe was historically defined by European academics. 27. The Don River became unsatisfactory to northern Europeans when Peter the Great, king of the Tsardom of Russia, defeating rival claims of Sweden and the Ottoman Empire to the eastern lands, and armed resistance by the tribes of Siberia, synthesized a new Russian empire extending to the Ural Mountains and beyond. Founded in 1721, citation needed. In Sweden, 5 years after Peter's death, in 1730 Philip Johann von Strahlenberg published a new atlas proposing the Ural Mountains as the border of Asia. Tatashev announced that he had proposed the idea to von Strahlenberg. The latter had suggested the Emba River as the lower boundary. Over the next century, various proposals were made until the Ural River prevailed in the mid-19th century. The border had been moved perforce from the Black Sea to the Caspian Sea, into which the Ural River projects. 28. The border between the Black Sea and the Caspian is usually placed along the crest of the Caucasus Mountains, although it is sometimes placed further north. The border between Asia and the region of Oceania is usually placed somewhere in the Indonesia archipelago. The Maluku Islands are often considered to lie on the border of Southeast Asia, with Indonesia New Guinea, to the east of the islands, being wholly part of Oceania. The terms Southeast Asia and Oceania, devised in the 19th century, have had several vastly different geographic meanings since their inception. The chief factor in determining which islands of the Indonesian archipelago are Asian has been the location of the colonial possessions of the various empires there, not all European. Lewis and Wigan assert, the narrowing of Southeast Asia to its present boundaries was thus a gradual process. The Bering Strait and Bering Sea separate the landmasses of Asia and North America, as well as forming the international boundary between Russia and the United States. This national and continental boundary separates the Diomede Islands in the Bering Strait, with Big Diomede in Russia and Little Diomede in the United States. The Aleutian Islands are an island chain extending westward from the Alaskan Peninsula toward Russia's Komandorsky Islands and Kamchatka Peninsula. Most of them are always associated with North America, except for the westernmost Near Islands group, which is on Asia's continental shelf beyond the North Aleutians Basin and on rare occasions could be associated with Asia, which could then allow the U.S. state of Alaska as well as the United States itself to be considered a transcontinental state. The Aleutian Islands are sometimes associated with Oceania, owing to their status as remote Pacific islands, and their proximity to the Pacific Plate. 30, 31, 32. This is extremely rare, however, due to their non-tropical biogeography, as well as their inhabitants, who have historically been related to indigenous Americans. 33, 34. St. Lawrence Island in the northern Bering Sea belongs to Alaska and may be associated with either continent, but is almost always considered part of North America, as with the Rat Islands in the Aleutian chain. At their nearest points, Alaska and Russia are separated by only 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles. Geographical Asia is a cultural artifact of European conceptions of the world, beginning with the ancient Greeks, being imposed onto other cultures, an imprecise concept causing endemic contention about what it means. Asia does not exactly correspond to the cultural borders of its various types of constituents. 35. From the time of Herodotus, a minority of geographers have rejected the three-continent system, Europe, Africa, Asia, on the grounds that there is no substantial physical separation between them. 36. For example, Sir Barry Cunliffe, the emeritus professor of European archaeology at Oxford, argues that Europe has been geographically and culturally merely the western excrescence of the continent of Asia. 37. Geographically, Asia is the major eastern constituent of the continent of Eurasia, with Europe being a northwestern peninsula of the landmass. Asia, Europe and Africa make up a single continuous landmass Afro-Eurasia, except for the Suez Canal, and share a common continental shelf. Almost all of Europe and a major part of Asia sit atop the Eurasian plate, adjoined on the south by the Arabian and Indian plate, and with the easternmost part of Siberia, east of the Shersky Range, on the North American plate.